a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. I'm your host, Jason Shea. Today, we have a very special guest, Sean, a veteran game designer and publisher. He has been in the industry for more than 20 years. And he obviously this year, he's doing something different in the industry. And I will definitely let him talk a little bit more about that. But he have an extensive experience spanning from designing under his own brand, Mr. B Games, since 2005. And now he's actually part of the core teams under Mayfair Games, and he has been involved in almost every single aspect in the industry as well. So I think he's wealth of knowledge, and he have a lot to share with our audience today. So thank you so much, Sean, for joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Jason. This is crazy, right? It's hard to sometimes think about. I blinked and 20 years went by. And one day I was like, oh, wow, I'm not going to publish. And then I kind of got sad and said, well, I got to keep doing something. So game design, sales, marketing was like a logical fit for me.
I see. So, but going back to like 20 years ago, what initially drew you into this industry to begin with?
You know, I grew up on Redbox Dungeons and Dragons, 1978, 79. I was very little. I had a brother a few years older than me, and we always played games in our family. We had board games. We had the old Game Master series games growing up. We had Can't Stop, Liar's Dice, things like that. They really molded me. They were toys, but also kind of games. And I loved the toy factor, broadsides and boarding parties with those giant pirate ships. And it just, I always made my own games out of the leftover pieces whenever we bought a game and we were disappointed, right? It didn't do what we thought it would. And for years I did it. And then one year I made Terraforming, my first ever game. And I worked on it for 2-3 years and maybe even longer. And in 2005, I borrowed a bunch of money from my mom and I flew to Gen Con. And I walked around and I visited over 100 booths and I pitched it to everybody I could think of. And please take a shot on me in my game. And as fate would have it, Morgan Dontanville was with Mayfair Games at the time. He said, we're not looking, but I tell you what, I'm off at 6. I'm going to grab some food and I'm up here at this game court at 7. And I would sit down with you and play it and give you some tips on what might help you. And he did. Him and Ron Margin sat with me for an hour and a half, and it was massively influential on me. All the Mayfair guys were just so nice to me. And the following day I went to Eagle Games and I pitched it to them and they turned me down politely. But 4 of their booth people didn't show up. For Saturday. It was, Saturday at Gen Con.
Oh, no. Okay. They are
crazy busy. And my oldest friend in this industry, Keith Bloom, was their marketing director. And he threw me a shirt and said, put this on, kid. Do you know how to teach Conquest of the Empire? And because I was a huge Game Master series fan, I was like, yeah, I got you covered. And he goes, great. And you could see the panic on his face because he doesn't have enough people. And I just slipped in, worked the whole day. And on Sunday, the owner, one of my longtime friends as well, Glenn Drover, came over, shook my hand, thanked me for coming and said, we'd like to have you on the team. And then I was on their demo team and then I was helping them out with sales. And then, and literally it just took off from there.
I see.
But ironically, nobody bought my game.
Oh,
so I say I'm on like a 20-year detour as a game designer, right? Because I went in and then I just fell in love with the industry and all the things and making games. And
Mhm.
for a few years, I tried once a year. I made a little card game here and there.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was working full blown for Eagle, who then spun up Griffin Games, and then
Yeah.
they became Eagle Griffin. And with the advent of crowdfunding, honestly, 2011, Kickstarter, I think, had just started in 2010.
Mhm.
And I kickstarted my first board game with Clint Huron,
Yeah.
fantastic, amazing designer.
Mhm.
And we designed a game called Pirate Dice, and it funded and it did really well. And
Oh, okay.
we were super excited. And Eagle took it, and then Eagle decided not to reprint it. And we were
I
a
see.
little frustrated because
Yeah.
we just had a massive Kickstarter. We shipped all these units. We left them 1,000 or 2,000 leftovers. They sold them out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they said, we're not going to reprint it or keep it in our catalog. And
Okay.
it was difficult, but without that moment, a year later, I left the company to resume publishing under Mr. B, and I released Alien Uprising with Richard Launius, and I have never looked back. So that was, that was 13 years ago, 14 years ago. And then I would publish some people's designs, my own designs, worked with other studios, lots of talented people over the years, amazing game designers, and just had an awesome run.
Yeah. And I think you have done almost every single role that you can do in the industry, correct?
Well,
any other role you want to try?
My mother used to always tell me I was a jack of all trades and a master of none. And my whole life, from the time I was a kid, I rebuilt a go-kart engine at age 6 because I wanted to ride a go-kart. I wanted to drive a go-kart. And it blew up and smoked because I didn't know what I was doing, but we got it to run. And so my whole life has been that, hey, we can get the game made for you. We can make the vision and the dream happen. And if it's good and it has legs, you can take it to some pros, and they'll push you over or get you to the next level. And that's kind of how I ran my business and my own designs for a little over 20 years.
Yeah. And obviously you've been on the both side of the aisle of like doing self-publishing and also try to do like pitching your idea to other bigger publisher as well. Like over the year, what are some of the trend or like things that you notice in the industry that has changed ever since you got started? So
early on, like in 2005 or 6, the barrier to entry was very difficult. So it was very hard to even make a card game back then. You had to invest, 15 grand. And with all the resources and art and everything. And so for a lot of people, for a hobby to do it, you really need a publisher, right? You need somebody that believes in your idea. And if I could have done it all over again, I don't know that I would have started a publishing company to make my own games. I wish I would have just maybe spent 2 or 3 years going to what eventually became the proto spiels and networking with other designers, because I would have learned how to be a better designer and a better pitcher. And then maybe I could have, gone to a publisher instead of saying, these publishers are all crazy here at Gen Con. They don't see the greatest card game of all time. I always tell the story of when I made my game, the first ever review I got, and I was so excited, and it was a 1 on Board Game Geek, the lowest rating you can get. And it was from someone who said my game pales in comparison to Carcassonne, and I was so happy because somebody mentioned that I made a game on caliber with Carcassonne, but it's not as good. And I went, I'm okay with that.
Okay. I see. I mean, you need to start out somewhere as a designer too, right? So
absolutely, we all started somewhere, right? And we made the second game, and it was I made it solo. It was called Stoplights, and it was a take on like Connect 5 with cards, and it had some cool little moments and gotchas, just super light, easy. And we actually got multiple language print partners on that game, and I sold it all over the world. And it was 1 print run and done. And I was with the company I was working with, and I just said, hey, we got this in and we sold it all out in a month, and should we do more? And it was, no, we should move on to the next game. And as I slowly worked through my career, every time I would have a success or a collaboration with someone, I kept finding that I couldn't get anyone to invest in the future print run. So again, when Kickstarter hit, I just said, if I do this, then I can always invest in me and my games in the future. And for me, I just had to have that. My whole career, well, the early part of my career, first 10 years, first 8 years, I couldn't get that belief. I could make the design, I could show, we could move it and sell it, but I couldn't get the long-term belief. And so I left and went on my own because I knew long-term I'd believe in me. And sometimes that's what you got to do, right? Is you got to just take it into your own hands. But honestly, by the time we hit 2025, this industry has grown massively. It's changed so much. Toys have almost gone hand in hand now with board games and card games, and the industries are merging and these giant companies are coming in, and it's just so hard for a one-man person like me to just keep going. And I really needed help. And I didn't have it, and I didn't have the money to hire a bunch of people and staff up. And so when the opportunity came for me to sell my publishing rights and my business to my childhood favorite company from the time I was a little kid, that gave me my breaks in the industry, the whole 9 yards. I had to do it. It was like one of those life goal things unlocked, in a video game in a weird way.
I see. Thank you for sharing your journey. And also over the year, I think you have started a lot of Kickstarter campaign, more than 30, I believe, right? Our
70th campaign is delivering. It's actually already started to deliver, and it's wild. We were looking at it, and I have one of the oldest Kickstarter accounts as an individual, and it's just mine. It's just under my name, Sean Brown, and it's always been there. And I always had a little picture of the Mr. B, just so people would remember, I have a game company. But as time comes on, I've had these opportunities to work with some amazing, talented people over the years and collaborate on Kickstarter. So some of them I ran for people and then didn't publish. We just helped them get the project, or I developed it or co-designed, and so that's why the project count's really high. On the Mr. B side itself, I think we've done 41 or 42 campaigns, and then we've done about 22 or 3 with studio partners that we've helped over the years.
What are some of the things that you notice that changes in the Kickstarter platform and just like the way you're doing crowdfunding in general?
Early, the biggest challenge was VAT. We started. We're an American-based company, right? So we put our project up, and we didn't know what it was going to cost and do to ship to the EU. And we'd never, we didn't hear VAT. We don't have that in the United States. We didn't have import taxes, none of that stuff. So it was learning that, and that was the biggest hurdle. And then also our international backers would just say, "Why is it so much more expensive over there?" And we would go, "We don't know, because you got to ship it and do all this extra stuff." And over the years, it was great, and we got better, and we found better partners, and then our rates came down, and then all that stuff. But that was the earliest challenges I saw. And then later on, it almost became a flood of every week there would be 10 board games releasing. Whereas when I first started, there would be one a month.
That's very different.
Right. And when I released Alien Uprising, we were one of only 10 projects to ever go over $100,000 on Kickstarter as a board game.
Okay.
And the highest, and we did 3,000-4,000, something like that. The highest game ever at that point in time was Zombicide at $250,000.
Okay. Yeah.
So we didn't have these $2.5, $3, $4, $5 million Kickstarters. So everything just increased by a zero. They got bigger, and the teams got bigger, and all the people involved, and the logistics. And then you had to just start building a network and farming stuff out. And as a jack of all trades guy my whole life, I just pivoted and I made do, and we got it all done. And at some point, the business just started right around right after the pandemic. Honestly, the business started getting so big, and we started selling more units, and the demand that I couldn't keep up. And at some point, you just go, hey, if you can't beat them, join them, right?
I see. How big was your team back then? Do you have like a few employees back then? Oh, just two? Okay. Oh,
Me
uh-huh.
and my good pal Chris Taylor. That was it for about.
Oh, okay.
I mean, from 2005 to 2011, it was just me, and from 12 to 2020, it was me and Chris, and part-time help from my family, of course, friends of mine that would loan me a warehouse to do fulfillment, or hey, you want to use my FedEx truck or whatever, right? I mean, highly do not recommend starting your own game publishing company, because there's so many things they don't tell you about when you think this will be awesome. I don't regret the path I took, but looking back on it and kind of thinking about it in retrospect, I wish I would have stuck with design a little longer. But hey, there's no time like the present, right? So now I've got a bunch of new designs, and I'm ready to go out there, and maybe this time a couple of publishers will listen to me, and maybe I'll get a game signed this year.
Of course. And I know, because crowdfunding is such a key part of your journey. In your experience, what is the most important element for all the successful campaign that you have done in the past?
From our standpoint, I would say I always treated every Kickstarter I ever ran like everybody there was my friend. They were backers. They weren't buying from me in a store, right? They weren't coming to a game convention and buying from me from a booth. They were hanging out with me in this chat room where we could talk about the game, and I was sharing pictures of this development that we did, and this image that I had in my head of what I wanted to make when we printed it. And it's so cool. I love the energy, when people are coming on your page and going, this is amazing. And I love the way you did the dice, and they see the little fine details we put in. And every once in a while, somebody will say something in the comments, and I'll read it and go, oh, we could do this. Like, they have a really good idea, and we could incorporate this and this and this. And it's inspiring. And so for me, I have always done well in a groupthink. And that's how I've treated Kickstarters was, here's my presentation of the best project that I can make based on this design, and I'm excited about it. And I want to show it out to a bunch of my friends, because your friends shoot you straight and they tell you this is good or this is bad. And if I could get 300-400 friends to back a project, then we made a game. And every once in a while, we'd put that out there, and we'd get 1,000 or 2,000, or one time we got 10,000 people. And I went, oh my God, this is amazing. Right? And the more people you got, the more you went, maybe this idea really does have some legs to breathe, So
how much pre-launch activity do you usually do in advance of the actual campaign?
In the early days, there was no pre-marketing, right? It was just, just, you made it and you put it up there. For us, it was a little later, and it, we would do things like put it on our website and put out a launch date, like a movie trailer. And the first time we actually started doing that was in 2016 with Post-Human. And this game, we made this cool little video of just like somebody reading a journal who was out on the road and been surviving in an apocalypse. And it was real short, but kind of dark for the time. And it just resonated with people. And that was one of our biggest Kickstarters. It just exploded. And and that was kind of the light bulb moment of, wow, pre-marketing matters, right? Getting people on board early, spreading the word. Resources like Board Game Geek, going onto the Geek and making sure your game's listed and people know when it's coming out, and all the information's correct. Those are just really important things. And going to the professional trade shows, toy fairs, and the gammas and stuff like that. Just really is important if you want to get that awareness. And then over the years, it changed because our audience changed, and then you had to do a little more direct to consumer marketing. And well as anybody, when that starts happening, the bar just keeps starting to raise.
Yeah, you need bigger
And
team, you get more complexities, and just a lot more maybe moving pieces. So,
and a
and a lot
lot
more
more
money.
money, right?
Yeah, a lot more
And
money.
so
Yeah.
when you're a dumbass from Pueblo, Colorado, like me, and you grew up poor, you don't have a lot of money, and you don't have retirement or rich parents to help you. So you got to go out and fight for every dollar, and you got to really work hard. And I feel like I never worked hard in my career because I always did something that I loved and I believed in, and I made cool things. And I was fortunate enough that we live in a time where a platform you can share your cool ideas, and your friends can say, heck yeah, I'll support that, and send me a reward when it's done. It looks cool. And I'll tell you, the last couple of years, mostly post-pandemic, I felt the third shift in Kickstarter, and that was I feel like people stopped coming to our campaign pages to be a part of the energy and the excitement in the making of the game, and they started coming to pre-order it like a store. And with a pre-order comes a sense of customer goes, where's my thing? Why is it late? When's it coming? And as opposed to in the early days of Kickstarter, it was, this is so cool, you're making this thing.
Yeah.
I don't care when I get it, as long as when I get it, it's done right and it's great. And that's my biggest shift is I think we've now moved a deadline, right? So I run a campaign and I tell people we'll have it to you in a year, and we work our tail off to hit that date. And if you're a week late or a month late or 2 months late, it used to be no problem. And now it's become, hey, you really need to be professional. You got to hit that deadline. And if you miss it, you need to own it and you need to tell people. And in all my projects, I've missed my deadline twice. Once was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I had no control. And the second time is the project we're currently fulfilling right now, because the containers took way longer to bring over because we introduced tariffs in the United States. And much like VAT in the EU, we didn't know. There was nobody to guide us. There's not a company out there to say, here's how to handle your VAT.
I don't think even the administration know themselves.
No. And so now we have in the US, we have tariffs, which work very similar to VAT in Europe. And it's hard, right? Because now as a longtime crowdfunder, you go out and you try to explain to these friends that have been watching our company and buying our things for years, and you try to explain to them that, hey, we're just trying to minimize the damages here. We're splitting them with you. We don't know what the rate's going to be from month to month, so we can't give you a quote. And
very difficult.
Well, but it ruffled some feathers, right? There's some people that think the tariffs are great, and there's some people that think they aren't. And we couldn't win because both sides, just whatever. So, what I did is I always came with every project as, if I were a backer, how would I want to be treated? And for us, we just said, you know what? When we launched this project that's now late, there weren't tariffs. Right. We launched it in October of 2024. And we went to print in, February, something like that. And our games were completely ready, packed up on a boat and ready to sail. And we had tariffs and a 254% bill. And what do? You can't pass that on to people. So we delayed the bringing it over until we knew what the price was. And then there was a pause. The administration said, hey, you're right, everybody need a little time. We're going to pause it at a modest 54% instead of 254. And so we jumped on it and we just brought our stuff over, figuring we'll take the gift. 250 would have put me out of business, and 54 just hurt a lot.
For sure. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I think tariff is definitely a big problem for the entire industry, and including my own company. We did have a pretty negative impact by it last year as well with the tariff. So
it is, and again, just like the VAT in Europe, now that we all know how to handle it, and that it's here to stay, it looks like, you can build it in, right? Because now you can understand it, and you can at least account for it, and get back to crowdfunding with it. And so it's a pivotal moment. It's a huge moment in Kickstarter's history, and they've just launched some new tools where you can do like your own pledge manager tools inside of the tools. And they're really on top of it, so they actually do break out, what's your tariff, what's your taxes, and what's your shipping, which is great. It's just fantastic.
That definitely helps. So now looking ahead, I know your original company just recently merged with Mayfair Game. What is your vision with the portfolio of the game that you still have? Now you're part of a bigger kind of an entity now.
Well, yeah. So in May 27th of 2025, I was working for Mayfair Games, and I stepped down, and I sold them my IP, my back catalog, things like that. And that actually I thought was the end of my journey. I didn't actually think I would be back with Mayfair. And so I was just kind of in an advisory role of, they might ask, hey, where'd you print this? Or what were the sales like on this game? We're thinking of relaunching it. And that was just kind of part of the transition. And we did that through the end of the year. And I thought that would be the end. And I started my sales and consulting. My company just basically sold its publishing arm, essentially. And so I kept sales and marketing. And new year, new calendar year, and I got a call, and it was the new ownership at Mayfair, and they said, we'd sure like to hire you on as a sales and consulting expert. And I said, yeah, cool. I've got some openings on the schedule, and I just do some contract part-time work here and there. And I actually haven't started, so you'll be able to break that news first for me. I'll be basically starting at Gamma this year, so that's when I'll be coming on board to help them out with marketing and sales and stuff. So I'm really excited.
I see. Yeah. Definitely looking forward to also see you in Gamma. I will be there. I'll be speaking on one of the speaker at Gamma this year as well.
Yo, I'm gonna have to go listen, because your seminars are fantastic. And honestly, if anybody watching at home is going or has been to any of these shows, and you see Jason on a seminar, his talks are amazing. He's always got really cool stuff to show. And
thank you so much.
I learn from you as much as anytime we're chatting. So this is awesome.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So I guess as we're kind of wrapping up today's interview, I just have a few final questions I want to ask. Like, if you looking back to your own journey, like doing all the different roles in the industry, if you have to share just one piece of advice with someone that's also getting started in the toys and game industry, what would that be?
I would say, honestly, go to your local events first. Go to like your proto spiels or your game conventions where you can be around other designers that make prototypes, because you will learn so much from these guys about like how to present or how to make a pitch sheet, or even just cadence when you're talking, so you don't get overly excited. A lot of things, and it happens. I'm an animated guy. You're an animated guy. We love our ideas and our passions, but sometimes you have to present the game and let the company that's looking ask you those questions, because they're looking for a specific type of game, or they're looking to take your idea that they're excited by. They're sitting with you at the table. If they weren't interested, they wouldn't have sat down with you at the table. And I tell new designers all the time, when I ran Mr. B Games, we'd get 10 to 12 emails a week from people, unsolicited, and they would send a sell sheet like of their game, like a pitch. And sometimes they would send a little 1 or 2 minute video of, here's my game. Does it look cool? Yeah. Those were the best, because I might not be at a show to see you, and then you show it, and I might see 10 of them a week, and we might only contact 1 or 2, but from those 1 or 2, every once in a while, 1 or 2 get signed. So, and then at the shows, if you can make it to a big show like an Origins or a Gen Con or a PAX, a lot of publishers are there. And a lot of times you can meet that contact. You can go to the booth and say, I'm an aspiring game designer and I've had a couple things published. Are you guys looking for designs, and who could I reach out to? They love that, right? We're at the shows because we're trying to meet people and look for games. And so that would be my advice, is do that local network early. Work with those other local designers, exchange your time for other designers' time so that you can help them develop and work on their game. They can help you. That's the best part of the community, those proto spiels and unpubs and stuff. They're great for that stuff. I would have done that first, and then I would have gone to the main shows and maybe done the publisher speed datings that like Gen Con and Origins and PAX have. They're just phenomenal, because you can do your pitch 10 times in a row to 10 different publishers in 2 hours, So
okay, that's a really good piece of advice. I think definitely networking and getting other people in the industry that might be already been there and done that a little bit of what you're trying to accomplish. That's definitely a very good way to kind of get your foot into the door to understand the industry to begin with. So
yeah, and then after that, if you go the self-publish route, I would go to an event like a Gamma, and I would go talk to all the service providers, go find the people that can help you sell it on the back end, or do the marketing, or get you into distribution, or help you with your tariffs, or help you print your game or whatever, because they're all there, right? The printers are all there. Everybody's there that can help you. And I recommend you do that first, take in all that knowledge, and then ask yourself really, really truthfully, do I really want to do all of this work to publish my design, or do I want to just find somebody to do it myself? Don't be a Mr. B.
Yeah, I think that's a very good piece of advice, because sometimes before you start, people don't realize how much actual work it is involved to actually run your own publishing business. Because now you're running an actual business. It's not just designing. You need to do the business, the tax, the marketing, the operation, everything when it comes to operating a publishing company versus just focusing on the design. So that's a very, very good piece of advice for sure. So
absolutely, and I do think it's very important, because I think that I don't want to say it's a mistake. I love the 20 years I got to spend in the industry publishing, but I started in the industry to be a game designer and took a 20-year detour publishing games. So what the hell do I know, right? But maybe it'll make me a better designer now that I'm old and gray and retired, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, it does require a little bit of a different skill set, because now it's like running a publishing company. It's an entrepreneur adventure. There's like so many different things you need to learn than just designing the game itself. So yeah.
I used the analogy one time of, since we all play role-playing games and board games with stats and characters, I said, imagine playing a video game or a board game where your character, on your little character card has, 5 proficient skills, and maybe they know 10 total. And me, I might know 50 skills, but I'm maxed out at like 50% cap limit. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of skills, but at some point you start looking at your skill set and you go, well, there's probably 4 or 5 things that I do know at 80 or 90%, but the majority of them, right? And then you start looking over the years and you go, sometimes you can, I used to use the analogy, you can punch out of your weight class or whatever. And, people for years saying, what are you talking about? You've been making all these cool games and stuff. Yeah. But I got to tell you, there are years when you put out your 4 or 5 game lineup and they don't sell as well as you'd hoped. And you just go, oh no. Yeah. Right. But you get through. And then next year you have a killer lineup and you got 5 games and they all of them go to reprint and you're like, oh, amazing. And that's the industry. You're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs. And you, Will Niebling told me once, the best way to survive long-term in this industry is just be there, just show up, be there at work, go to the shows, go to Gen Con, go to the toy fairs, go to the Gammas, go to the Unpubs. Because, people say, oh, you got lucky or something like that. And luck is not real. Luck is, you need to be at the right,
your own luck. You need to
bring your own luck. Yeah. But you also, in the whole right place at the right time is also not true. You put yourself in the right places so that you can have the opportunities, not the luck.
Yeah.
right? And that's
Great.
it. That's, if I could leave anybody's advice, is plan a little. Think about what lane you want to be in. Do you want to create? Do you want to design? Do you want an entrepreneur? Maybe you love logistics on the back end because you're a crazy maniac like me. I don't know, but find your lane, and don't be afraid to specialize in the thing you do. And unless you're a weirdo that is a jack of all trades, and then dive right into publishing. It's great.
For sure, that's a wonderful piece of advice. And for our audience that would love to learn a little bit more about you and the company you're with now, where is the best place for people to find you online?
Well, so I still have the MrBGames.com website, and we still help several of our friends. And anytime they don't have distribution or regular channels, we pop them up there on MrB.com for people to find them. If you missed them on crowdfunding, and then of course, the other part of that equation too would be, now that I'm helping doing some. Think we lost you. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course, if you're into really cool remakes and some really nice stuff, we've been helping Mayfair.com, and they're great. They got a lot of cool stuff too.
Sounds good. I'll make sure I put that all in the show note. And thank you so much for your time today, sharing your journey, your experience, and the wonderful 20-year journey that you have in the industry so far. So
thanks, Jason. I on a personal note, I really appreciate you reaching out and scheduling this with me. You're the first person I've talked to, kind of post retirement in this kind of a capacity. And so, it was a little nerve-wracking for me, right? Because I just thought, well, gee, I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up. And here I am, not only grown up, but I'm old and retired. So yeah, this is awesome. And thank you so much for having me on and let me talk a little about the journey.
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much for being on. And thank you so much for our audience for tuning into this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope today's conversation gives you some practical insight and fresh inspiration for growing your own toys or game companies. This podcast is proudly brought you by Toy Launch, a leading marketing and growth partner for toys and game company. At Toy Launch, we help brands scale on Amazon and beyond through full service account management, advertising, SEO, creative, catalog optimization, influencer marketing, and more. If you're looking for a proven team that both understand the toys and game industry and the e-commerce marketing, we're here to help. If you like a personalized breakdown of your brand opportunities and marketing step, you can schedule a free consultation session with us. Just visit toy-launch.com/schedule to book a time. If you want to connect with other toys and game founders, feel free to join our free community, Toys and Game Launchpad, at toy-launch.com/group. And for more resource updates and industry insight, visit us at any time at toy-launch.com. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, that is